It's Rise and Shine with Lady C, where we uplift, educate, and motivate. Let's talk about life and faith, ministry, community, and so much more. I'm Lady C, your host. Be sure to follow, like, and share Rise and Shine with Lady C on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you so much for joining me every week right here on 1580thepraise.com. Today, I have a special guest in the studio, none other than Kenny Crump. He is an amazing king in our community who is an entrepreneur, influencing and changing the lives of young children and adults every day through his business. I am so very proud of him and his beautiful wife, Christina, and so honored to call him family and to have a conversation with him on today. I welcome Chief Executive Officer of Gym Skills, Kenny Crump. Thank you for joining me today, Kenny.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely welcome. And for those of you who are curious, it's like, okay, he has the same last name as you do. So for those who are curious, Kenny is the nephew of my husband, Bishop Chris Crump, and Dr. Beverly Crump at the ministry. So shout out to his amazing parents, Kenny and Sherry, Christina and Carlo. We love you all here at Rise and Shine. Amen. So family, we are talking about all things gymnastics and the importance of physical activity for our children. So Kenny, as we delve into this, share with the world, who is Kenny Crump? Share with us who you are.
Yeah, so Kenny Crump is a father, a husband. A lot of people like to call me an entrepreneur. I feel like that word's kind of thrown out kind of loosely, but yeah, just the overall good guy, God-fearing, and just want to continue to pour into the community as much as I can.
That's awesome. So Kenny, talk with us about your journey that led you to opening, Gym Skills. Is that something that you had always dreamed of? Were you naturally, your ability with gymnastics? Yeah. So talk to us about your journey.
Yeah. So I started gymnastics at the age of 4.
Wow.
And so my sister and brother were actually doing it. They're a few years older than me.
Okay.
And I saw them doing gymnastics and I was like, man, I really want to be a ninja. This was in the 80s. So karate and being a ninja was cool. Yeah. So I had, I asked my parents to get me in it. Actually, a local rec center here, Linden Recreation Center.
Yeah.
So I started there at 4, and then honestly never looked back. It was something I just fell in love with, and continued doing gymnastics from 4 all the way until 18 years old. And when I got out of high school, my dad had suggested that I start coaching. So that's what kind of got me into coaching, and then one thing led to another. I've always had this entrepreneur spirit.
Wow.
And now, Gym Skills was birthed from there.
That is awesome. So how did Gym Skills begin? Did it begin like where you're at now? So what did, back then, what did Gym Skills look like?
Yes, that's a great question. So so we go all the way back to 2004.
Okay.
So 2004, I was coaching for Columbus Parks and Rec, and also I was coaching at a cheer gym. And there was a parent of a kid I was coaching at Columbus Parks and Rec. She said, "Hey, Coach Kenny, my daughter loves your classes. Is there any way you can come to her daycare and teach classes?" And I really didn't know if that was okay or not, but I said, yeah, but I don't have any mats. And the director of the center kind of overheard the conversation. She said, well, hey, if you need some mats, you can take these and just make sure you bring them back.
Wow.
So God's favor. I took the mats, went over to, and actually this was at New Salem, that they had a daycare center.
Okay.
So I went over there and taught the class, and Gym Skills Mobile Gym. Well, there wasn't a name; it was just Kenny. Going to classes and teaching. So
Kenny's classes.
Yep. So it was Kenny's Gymnastics. That's what it was. So that's how it was birthed, and then that worked out. I said, "Wow, I wonder if I can go to another daycare." Okay. So I talked to New Covenant. I knew the pastor's son there, so. New Covenant, they took me in and, allowed me to teach classes. And then I went to another daycare, and then I said, man, I think this could work.
Oh my goodness. And it just took off.
It took off. I mean, like any business, it had some ups and downs, but I knew at that time, like, okay, this is what I want to do. I'm going to give it 100%. So I had a couple little odd jobs while I was growing the business, but it didn't last long because I knew that, this is for me, and, I could figure out how to make this work.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you started right in the community.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes, you know, for some of those, if we have a dream or a business idea, you know, we don't really pay attention to the resources that where we can serve the community right where we are at.
Yeah, it was important for me because I you know, being a gymnast, growing up, so to go back, you know, in the 80s, 90s, you know, you didn't see a lot of black gymnasts. You know, it was very few. So for me, and it was always important for me, if I said, if I ever have a business and I can do it, I want to make sure the kids that wouldn't typically have an opportunity to do it, which was us, would be able to do it on a larger level. You
Absolutely.
know, because it's an expensive sport.
That's what I hear. Yes, I have some questions about that.
yeah. So
absolutely.
We'll get there.
Wow. So, talk with us. You know, the face of gymnastics. You know, in the United States is changing. There are more athletes of color as never before, you know, starting and sticking, you know, in this sport long dominated, you know, by white athletes at the highest levels. So I truly believe in understand representation matters. It matters.
Absolutely.
So I think about when I was watching TV and seeing Dominique Dawes and Gabrielle Douglas and Simone Biles and Diane Durham, who's a little bit further back, and Morgan Dennis. You know, can you talk about, you know, your experience? You know, did you, when you were in those classes, were there a lot of other participants that looked like you?
No, not at all. So,
okay.
You know, what was interesting, so of course when I was at Columbus Parks and Rec, it was in the community. So, you know, going through that rec circuit in the city, it was a lot of us. But when I turned 10 years old, I had kind of, my skill level was kind of above Parks and Rec. So someone had recommended, hey, you need to look into club gymnastics. Or they told my dad that. And so the club gymnastics was out in Dublin. And, you know, back then it wasn't a lot of us out in Dublin. So I went out to a gym called Midwest Gymnastics in Dublin. And believe it or not, the owner was black. And, and we couldn't believe it. My dad and I, we were like, "Whoa, who's this guy?" So I never forget, like, seeing that was just so inspirational because, again, we didn't know where we were getting to going there, but the owner's name was Lewis Robinson, and he, you know, just he told my parents, and I never forget this, and I try to run my business the same, but he said, you know, I know this is expensive, but you know, you can pay what you can. You know, he didn't make us pay, you know, what everyone else was paying, and that did a lot, you know, for us.
That is awesome. I often think about, you know, the importance of investing, you know, in our children. And sometimes, Kenny, and I'll let you speak to this, sometimes I think we can be focused on investing in the wrong things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It happens.
You know, we're more concerned sometimes about the materialistic things, you know, whereas, like, you know, we'll be quick to pay $250 for a pair of tennis shoes. Well, I don't know if they cost that much, but I'm just saying.
More.
But you know, there's a deficit in your reading, your comprehension. You know, the academic skills are suffering, and if we would just, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. But, you know, we need to really be intentional as parents as far as how we're going to invest, you know, in our young people, because they are the future. Absolutely.
It's important, you know, and I think nowadays I kind of see it more than back then, because like I said, when I was doing gymnastics, I went to the club gym, and I was maybe, say there was 250, 300 kids in the gym. It was like two of us.
Wow.
You know, and there was probably more kids than that in the gym, but yeah, so it wasn't very many. And you know, my dad, I have an old school dad.
Yes. Shout out to KC.
KC. A lot of people know KC. So Mr. Crump. Yeah, so he's old school, and he always just said, hey, you know, you're not like them. Keep your guards up. You know, he's old school.
I can hear him saying that right now.
You can see it. And back then I was like, what do you mean? I am like everybody. You know, being a kid, you don't know, but now looking back, it's like, oh yeah, he was right. You know, so, but now, you know, gymnastics, like you said, is just taking a different look, and not so much like in men's gymnastics. It's not as many of us still, but women's gymnastics, you can definitely see the trend where there's a lot more of us, which is awesome.
Oh, I mean,
you see kind of taking over the sport.
Yes, and it's just so exciting. I'm just like, go. I'm like, oh my goodness. Cool. So Kenny, can you talk about what are the benefits of a child participating in gymnastics? Now, I do my little research and all that kind of little stuff, and I kind of read some Harvard articles, but I want to hear from you. What are the benefits of a child participating in gymnastics?
Yeah, and I can base this off of what it did for me, as an athlete. So, getting started so early, confidence, really builds the confidence in kids, because there's not a lot of sports that a kid can do at 1, 2, 3 years old,
right? And
gymnastics is one of those. And you can get started early. Helps build your gross motor skills, and also just it's just one of those sports that it just gives you that instant gratification. You make a little forward roll or a headstand. It's like, wow, good job. So it's a great sport, to get started, and you can start early.
And I didn't realize that it helps with even cognitive development. I was just like, whoa,
absolutely.
And like you said, the gross motor skills and all that. I had no idea. Like, wow,
balance, flexibility. I mean, and it's also like it's one of those sports, and again, I'm biased because I was a gymnast, but it's not a lifelong sport, but also like the flexibility and strength that you learn early on, it kind of just carries onto your. It's a lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Most gymnasts I know, they continue to work out, and they're very conscious of how they eat and all those things throughout life.
Wow, that is so important. And I think about your grandmother. I think about Mother Crump and how she, up until her 90s, was on her bike.
That's right. Yeah.
So she knew the importance. Lifestyle. Having a healthy, active lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Wow. So you know what? We got to help our young people.
We do.
We really do. Kenny, can you share with our listeners, how do you recognize, if your child or grandchild has that natural inclination or ability, to perhaps be a gymnast, or, what are the signs that we could recognize?
Yeah. So if you have a kid that's just, rambunctious and they're very active, like most kids, I think, are, just naturally curious, about things. So, you want to try to direct that energy, into something in a sport like gymnastics or really any sport. But to me, you can tell. I mean, they're fearless. That's another thing. Most gymnasts are fearless. They're not worried about, getting hurt and all those things. So, those are things I would typically look for.
That's awesome. Yeah. So how early can a child kind of begin, in a gymnastics, environment? Like, what would that look like, or how old?
Yeah, so I can use my daughter for example. She's 20 months now, or she'll be 20 months in a week. But she got started at 16 months.
Wow.
So honestly, if a kid's walking, then they can probably do some type of gymnastics activity.
Gotcha.
So that's what when you look at our different information on our website, we just put walking age.
Because
if you can walk, you can probably walk on a beam, or understand. I mean, these are all parent participation classes.
Absolutely. We're just not gonna put the child.
Right.
Okay. See you later, Kenny.
No, it doesn't work like that.
You're like, I need you to stay.
Yeah. Most parents, they're like, oh man, I gotta stay in the class. You're like, yes, you need to be there.
I love it. You're like, this is not a babysit, right?
They would love that.
This is not a drop-off, parents.
Exactly. Yep.
That is awesome. So walking age, that is that. Yep. See, you learn something new every day. That's really awesome. So I understand this is a family business, lots of family members that work there. So would you share with us who is a part of Gym Skills, your leadership team and your day-to-day team and staff?
Yeah. So when I first started, it's funny, but my mom, she's been with me since day one.
Wow.
And her role has changed over time. So it's funny, when the mobile gym started growing, she would allow me to use her minivan.
Oh wow.
Actually, she didn't let me use it. She said, I'll drive you around.
I know that's right, Sherry. I love you, sis.
That's right. And we would throw mats in there, and she would drive me around to these different schools. And so but now her role, she does more, in the back end, accounts and things. And my dad, he actually retired this year. So
I heard.
He likes to tell everybody, like, I retired twice. So he was a big help, though.
Yes,
everybody loves KC, so he helped out. And then my sister, she's also part of the office team and does some things, but yeah, it's nice to have people you can trust and family around.
It makes a difference.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's a family affair.
It sure is. It sure
That
is.
is awesome. So talk with me a little bit. I know we talked about your journey, but what led to like the dream? What was it? Was there something, a pivotal moment, the dream? What inspired you to open Gym Skills? I know we went from kind of doing the mobile, but then what led to the manifestation of the physical building of Gym Skills?
Yeah, it was really the demand of the parents.
Wow.
Once we had so many mobile gyms, parents were like, hey, we're going to this gym, we're going to that gym, you should open a gym.
Wow.
And it honestly was never like a plan of mine. It was not something I wanted to do, but again, just being an entrepreneur, having that resilience, you just want to keep going. So
Absolutely.
It really was no other option but let's try to open a gym.
It made sense.
It made sense. So
wow.
and that whole thing was a blessing too, because I was working at that cheer gym and they closed, but another coach there, she was a cheer coach,
okay.
and my thing was gymnastics and tumbling. So we ran into each other, and we were like, hey, we should open a gym, or at least like a co-op. Half the gym could be cheer and half the gym could be gymnastics.
Wow.
And that's how we got our first space.
Okay.
Was and that was back in 2008. Yeah, 2008.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Wow. So what does the future hold for Gym Skills? Expansion, franchising, what's going on?
Yeah. So we got a lot going on when it comes to Gym Skills. Right now, we got the 2 locations. So we got our, Gahanna location here in Columbus, then we got Cincinnati and in the Blue Ash area. But we actually started franchising about a year ago.
Wonderful.
So we're always looking for, franchisees who want to help us expand. So it'd be great to, open up a few more in Columbus,
Absolutely.
maybe Cleveland, Cincinnati, really anywhere we can franchise. So
the sky is the limit.
Sky's the limit there. And we just expanded our Cincinnati location by another 6,000 square feet.
Wow.
So yeah, we're growing and,
Awesome.
doing after school programs and summer camps. So it's fun.
Okay, and it's the summer, and I know y'all really busy.
Oh man, the last week. So we're like, we made it.
Hey, glory.
We made it.
I know that's right. Oh my goodness. As you know, we're still in a pandemic and all that kind of good stuff. As an entrepreneur, a business owner, what did the pandemic teach you about being a business owner, an entrepreneur? What did you learn from that?
Man, we really learned a lot. So one of the biggest things I would say we learned is, just not getting comfortable, because, just when you think, things are going great,
That's
and,
good.
you can't really lose, they can just like that,
Just like that.
the things
Yeah.
were like shut down. So that's what really got us into franchising, because we were shut down and we're like, hey, we have time now, to figure things out.
Gotcha.
So we're able to put together systems and operations and figure out how to really scale the business and grow more. So yeah, that was probably the best thing we learned during that, is just to not get comfortable, continue to pivot, and figure out what the next move will be.
Now, listeners, that was a TED Talk. He listed all them bullets.
Hey,
You know
learn
what?
quick.
Yes, take advantage of that downtime and think about how to plan,
That's it.
for expansion. That's powerful. That's
Absolutely.
powerful. So can you talk to us about fear and stepping out in faith? Some of us, I want to do this, and we ain't did nothing.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
talk to us about stepping out in faith to pursue our dreams.
That's right. Yeah. So for me, I would say when it comes to fear, we all have it, right?
Yes.
Everybody, you have something that, we're worried about, or something that's going to hold us back. But, what does this saying go? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
I like that.
So, you got to take a chance, bet on yourself.
That's good.
Trust in God.
Yes.
And, he'll see you through, because if it's for you, it's going to work out.
Yep, it's
so
gonna come to pass.
that's how I always like to look at everything, and everything doesn't work out, but eventually it's going to work out the way God planned it to. So, I just always try to continue to pray about things, put God first, and it'll work out. So fear's okay, but don't let that hold you back.
There you go. And one of the things I think sometimes I will speak in, I don't know if it's a generational thing, but sometimes we don't have the patience or, to trust the process.
That's true.
There's a process.
Absolutely a process. Yeah. We don't. Yeah, you're right. We don't have that patience.
Yeah.
But yeah, the process. We can't always predict. How things are going to work out.
Yeah.
but we have to take that step forward, and also planning. You have to plan. You can't just say, hey, I have this great idea. Everybody's got great ideas,
yes,
but they don't know how to execute.
That's good.
So,
that's good.
Sometimes if you're not good at something, maybe you need to hire someone or find someone who can help you with this. So utilizing your resources is important.
That's good. That's good. So being a successful business owner such as yourself, talk with the family. How important is your circle?
Yes, having a circle is very important. I keep a really small circle, and I haven't mentioned my wife yet. But so my wife Christina, she's an entrepreneur as well, hairstylist, Strand Cafe. I'll shout her out.
Absolutely.
And actually retired hairstylist, now a interior decorator, but she inspired me, more than anybody, because she always gave me that push. I mean, she's just naturally talented at a lot of things.
Yes.
And me, I like to say I'm not very talented at anything. I'm only really good at delegating and putting people, in position to win. And that, I guess that's a gift in itself. Yes. But yeah, so she always inspired me to to keep going, and also I would say what's most inspirational to me are people who believe in themselves.
That's good.
And so if you believe in yourself, I get inspired. I want to help and push you, as much as I can, and that's what keeps me, inspired.
That is wonderful. It is. So I always say, everyone knows, I talk about who is in your circle, and I don't think people really understand just how powerful the power of influence.
Absolutely.
If you have a dream, you want someone that can encourage you and cheer you on versus shooting your idea down. Well, what you thinking about that?
Yep.
Well, that's a dumb idea. So who is in your circle is so important.
And I'll expound on that for a second. So Christina and I, again, entrepreneur household, we get each other.
Yes.
It works, but everyone doesn't live in a household where you have two entrepreneurs. So sometimes you may have that individual that they don't understand that grind, and that you're working 24 hours a day sometimes. So I think it's important that everyone's not going to share your same ideas and beliefs with you, but eventually, you can get them to come around. Everybody wants to see that success, so just keep going.
Everybody wants to see that.
Everybody believes it after you
but
make your first dollar.
There's a process.
That's right. Yep. They don't understand that.
Oh my goodness. So Kenny, what do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
Yeah, in the next 10 years, just continuing to pour into others. Because that's really. We've been in business going on 20 years now.
Wow.
And it'll be 20 years in 2025, 2024. Okay. So, I mean, at this point, I do a lot of other things outside of gym skills. We're actually launching a foundation on January 7th of 2023. So, everybody, we need you guys to come out. So it's called We Elevate You, and it's a foundation to help entrepreneurs.
Okay, awesome.
So entrepreneurs ages 18 to 30.
Okay,
we'll be able to help them with some startup capital.
Wonderful.
And so we're really excited. So really, just continue to do those philanthropic things as well as growing the franchise and. I do in real estate investments, so just a lot of fun things.
That's awesome. Can you share that name again of that organization? The foundation?
Yes, please. Yeah. So the foundation is called We Elevate You.
Okay.
So We Elevate You is a foundation to help entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs ages 18 to 30 get startup capital to launch their businesses.
Okay. Any particular industry or just kind of
any industry?
Okay.
Because again. I wish I had an opportunity to get some help, and we pair them with mentors. We're going to pair them with attorneys, accountants, everything. It's basically a starter kit for an aspiring entrepreneur. That's the whole goal.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. So how, if for someone that is listening between that age group, how can they apply to your foundation? So
that is it's very early.
Okay.
But we have weelevateyou.com.
Okay.
If you go there, it's a splash page right now, but you can still you should still be able to send an email there.
Okay, awesome.
We also have our actually I'm not gonna get out my personal email.
Oh, that's okay. No, don't do that. we'll get right back at you.
You can DM me on my Instagram page.
There you go. Yes, that's right. This is going all the way. Kristen be like, now who is that?
Right. Like, oh man, I get enough emails.
Oh my goodness,
so.
I love it. We elevate you, and you heard that first right here on the Rise and Shine with Lady C Talk Show. So that is an amazing.
Yeah, we're excited about that.
That is a blessing. That is really going to help someone. Yep. Oh my goodness,
we can't wait. We're excited.
That is awesome. And so I want to bring you back once you have that together, and so we can talk about that and some of the those who have benefited from that, and highlight that. So we would love to have you back. That is awesome. So as we wrap up, encourage our listeners, about the urgency of investing in our children's health and the importance of that. Can you just, share some encouraging words?
Yeah, absolutely. All parents, I would recommend, if your kid has that, like I said, that active mentality, and just kind of showed you that, they want to get into a sport or whatever, whether it's gymnastics, track, swimming, volleyball, whatever it is. Just push them. Put the same way you would have wanted it, when you were a kid. So, because again, you never know where it'll go.
Yes.
My goal was always to be an Olympian, but I think as I continued to grow in gymnastics, I was like, man, that's really hard to do. So it didn't work out being an Olympian, but opening up a business like Gym Skills has just been a blessing, and then just being able to over the years just continue to show kids that sport that I loved from an early age. So parents, you never know where it'll go. So just keep pushing your kids.
That's awesome. And here's the thing, Kenny, you aspired to be an Olympian, but you know what I believe what's going to happen? An Olympian is going to come out of Gym Skills. Hey now.
We've always said that. Hey, that's a possibility. We never know.
Absolutely.
That's always the question from parents. They say, does my kid have a chance to go to the Olympics? I'm like, whoa. I can't answer that.
Good answer.
I'm like, I can't, because I make that promise. Then next thing you know, they're like, well, you said.
I know, right?
I'm like, hey.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Well, we speak that Olympians will come out of Gym Skills. Right. So can you tell us, where can the people connect with you on social media?
Yeah, so my personal social media is World of Kenny. So you can reach me there on Instagram. But Gym Skills, you can go to Gym Skills. That's our Instagram, at Gym Skills. We have at Gym Skills Columbus and at Gym Skills Cincinnati. So any of those, you can find us at gymskills.com. And we'd love to talk to you. Or, we also have a mentorship program. That's awesome. So reach out to me on our social media at World of Kenny, and I can look into mentoring you as well.
Awesome. And for those parents or grandparents who are looking for some other activities, what would they need to do to get in contact with Gym Skills? Yeah,
if you want to sign up for a class or open gym, we have after school, all those things. You can go to gymskills.com. You can email us at info@gymskills.com. We also have, you can call us too, 614-571-1220.
That is awesome. Thank you to my special guest and family, Kenny Crump in the house on today.
I appreciate you having
me. Absolutely. It's all good, all family, all love. And again, I'm just so honored that you took time to come out and just share, your story.
I had to be here.
Yes,
I'm so excited for you. So
thank you. So this is going to help somebody. This is going to encourage somebody to step out on faith, pursue their dream, and that, what God did for you, He can do it for somebody else. So
that's right.
I'm so excited. I'm your host, Lady C. With God, all things are possible. Remember, you have purpose, and it's time to rise and shine. Join us weekly here on 1580thepraise.com.